RealtySync makes it easy to assign a commission structure to your agents. The flexibility of our system allows you to have as many commission plans as you can imagine. Let me show you how this works. From the agent dropdown, let's choose an agent. You only need to assign a commission plan to one of your agents, so be sure that the type of contact is our agent. This adds a commission information section at the bottom of the page. Our system was designed with flexibility in mind, so you have several options. The top section allows you to enter the amounts of pre- and post-split fees that will be collected each time this agent has a closing. In the split section, you can simply enter the amount of commission available to the agent. The rest is retained by the brokerage. For example, if I have a $50 E&O charge paid after the 20% brokerage split, the commission structure will look like this. Please note the Calculate Graduated Commissions Date field. This is the beginning date of the track statistics that show on the closing page. I'll usually put the beginning of a year or a quarter or even an anniversary in this box. If you want to use the system to its fullest potential and maximize the control you have of any potential changes in what you collect, I recommend using our expense feature. I'll show you how I use it at my brokerage. Let's say this agent is on an 80-20 split, pays an E&O fee of $50, and contributes to our company charity out of each transaction, up to $500. To make it even more complicated, let's say that 5% of the 20% split he pays is earmarked for an advertising fund. Let me show you how I'll set this up. I leave the first three fields at 0. Although I do charge a post-split fee, I'll enter it as an expense below. In the split field, I enter 100%. This means that the agent is eligible to receive 100% of all of the commission after the expenses are deducted. It's important in every part of RealtySync to save your work, so click one of the save icons. Now we're ready to add the different expenses we'll collect from this agent on each or most of their transactions. Scroll down until you see the Commission Expenses section. If you haven't set up a commission before, you'll only have one option in the dropdown. Click on New Expense. The first field asks whether this expense is collected before or after the company split. Keep in mind that if you're collecting a percentage, you'll always need to choose before. An amount can be before or after. Next, you'll have the ability to add an amount or a percentage. Choose one or the other. Next, add a category for this expense. This is very useful when tracking company income. The details box can contain any notes about when or why this expense is being collected. Clicking Memorize this invoice will add it to the drop-down we saw on the previous page. As you can see, I'm entering this expense to represent the 5% advertising fund that I mentioned was a part of the 20% split that this agent pays. I'll add the remaining 15% next. When you're all done with this expense, click Submit. When the page refreshes, you'll see the new expense you just added. You can repeat this process for each expense that is likely to be collected from this agent's transactions. When you're all done, it should look something like this. Remember I said that the agent was only going to contribute a total of $500 to the company charity? Let me show you how RealtySync will help you keep track of those threshold amounts. Click on Set a New Threshold. When the new box opens, enter the amount that will be the maximum that you will collect. In this case, $500. The system will collect based on the category assigned to that expense. When finished, click Save. When you begin to collect on this threshold, you can see exactly how much has been collected so far. And by clicking on the amount, you'll see exactly which transactions you've collected from. Now, the commissions have been all set up for this agent. So let's go take a quick look at what it looks like when you close out a file. Before you even click Continue to Close, you can see that the applied expenses are ready to be collected. If the file is ready to be closed, click Continue to Closing. The page will refresh to the closing page. In section number 1, the system tells you about the performance of the agent since the date we set up in the commission page. You can also see the thresholds and how much have been collected so far. In Section 2, you can see the memorized expenses. As I mentioned before, these charges are totally customizable. For example, if you need to eliminate one of these expenses altogether from this closing, just click on the red minus. If you want to change the expense, click on the blue icon, and you can make any changes necessary. It's easy to see whether the fees are being collected before or after the split. If you need to add a new expense, just click on the drop-down and find or add a new expense. In Section 3, you'll see the calculations. If everything adds up, click Close to finalize this transaction. Commission structures are one of the ways your brokerage is unique. With RealtySync, you have complete control over your commission income.